Hey, my lovelies, it's your girl Tina, and I am here to present my submission for the February Zine Craz collaboration. I'm so excited, and I hope you all have enjoyed what the ladies presented this month by way of their zines. So let's dive in and go further so I can show you the zine that I created. All right. Here it is. This is my zine, The Spark, Claudette Colvin, the authentic civil rights pioneer, the true spark of the Montgomery bus boycott. So this is my completed project. Let me show you how it starts. Here we go. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited about this zine. So, February being the month that we observe Black History, I thought it would be more than befitting to give highlights to one of the great pioneers of our time, of our history. So I chose Claudette Colvin, and it's just such a awesome story behind her name and how she stood up. And it's a story that is not often told. It's a story that a lot of people don't know. And I love this story. I love Claudette. When I first came into the knowledge of what really went down and what really happened about the Montgomery bus boycott, I was at awe. I could not believe it because all of these years, all of my childhood, all I ever heard was Rosa Parks, Rosa Parks. So let's dive in, and I'm going to give my insight, and I want to share with you all. Perhaps some already know the story, and there may be some that do not know the story. But Claudette, the devil, Claudette Colvin was an African-American girl back in Montgomery, Alabama. And she was the one that really sparked the movement of the Montgomery bus boycott. She was the one, the original person that refused to get up and to move and give her seat to a Caucasian woman. And it sparked a movement. Like I said before, all these years, all we've ever heard was Rosa Parks, who was the one that actually did this because her feet was tired and she had worked all day and she wasn't gonna, move or whatever. But actually, it was Claudette Colvin, who was the young lady at the time, 15 years old, who was coming home from school one day. And as we know, the buses was segregated. So you had the white section, which was in the front of the bus, and you had the black section, which was in the rear of the bus. Well, on this particular day, Claudette is on her way coming home from high school, and she's sitting in the black section. But however, the white section was full, and there was some ladies that got on the bus. And the bus driver demanded that Claudette and her friends get up out of their seats to give to the Caucasian ladies. Okay. Claudette Colvin stood and she said, I paid my fare. Equal rights, people. She paid her fare just like the Caucasian lady paid her fare. And she was already sitting in the assigned section for the African Americans. Back then, they considered us colored. So she refused to give up her seat on the fact that, one, she paid her fare, and two, it was her constitutional right to pay her fare and ride that bus and refuse to give up her seat. She stood. Now, however, according to the NAACP, Claudette wasn't chosen to be the face of this particular movement. One, because she was a young woman. Two, because she was dark-skinned. She was dark-skinned And they just felt that she could not be the face of the movement. Rosa Parks was older. She was an older woman. She was in her 40s, her early 40s during this era. She was an older woman. She was light-skinned. People, hear me. Light-skinned. And she was educated. She was an educated African-American woman. And so they chose her because they thought that she was a more suitable face for the movement. However, Claudette never really got the recognition for really sparking the movement of the Montgomery bus boycott that took place in that era. She never got the recognition. The recognition was always given to Rosa Parks. However, Rosa Parks did 9 months after Claudette had already refused and was arrested, was booked in adult housing in the county instead of sent to the juvenile facility, stayed in jail for 3 hours until her pastor was able to come and to bail her out of jail. It was 9 months later when Rosa Parks did the same thing, got on the bus and refused to give up her seat. And it has been suggested that that was a planned event so that they could carry on the spark that, in fact, Claudette had already sparked 9 months prior. Okay. So I love this. I just love this story. It touches my heart because so many people in the world are walked over, forgotten, and not given credit for the things that they do. But in fact, Claudette really was the original person that got this movement going. Why did she not give up her seat? Claudette shares in several videos, in several articles. If you go back and just Google her name, you will find a plethora of information that will come up, and interviews and articles and so forth. She said the reason why she did not give up her seat was because history was holding her down. At the time that this movement took place and was sparked, Claudette was studying Black history in school. And she was learning of the few African Americans who had made great contributions to society in, various ways. And she said the reason why she really didn't get up out of her seat and give up her seat because she had Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth holding her down. One was pushing her down on one shoulder and one was pushing her down on the other. And that was the real reason why she refused to give up her seat. You all, knowledge is power. That's all I'm going to say. So yes, if you don't know about Claudette, I challenge you again to Google her name, do some research, read up on her. Awesome, awesome. And that's all I could say is just awesome. I wanted to share that. I put this in my zine, and I guess I can go through and show you all some of the things that I did do in this zine. So I start off with one of her quotes. Young people think Rosa Parks just sat down on a bus and ended segregation, but that wasn't the case at all. So I titled it The Spark because I just feel like, she was the one that started this movement, and this is why we have desegregation today. And so then I just talked about that. I pulled up a picture. I used some stamps and stamped the word spark, highlighted it with a red pen, and then I just did my little white gel, little streaks on there. I think that brought it out really nice. The next section, it talks about Sojourner Truth and Harriet Tubman. I used this chair to go along with her quote, "History had me glued to the seat." And then I talk about that. On this page right here, I drew bars, jail bars. I put the date she was arrested, March the 2nd, 1955. The 14th Amendment is what they violated. The 14th Amendment of the Constitution. While incarcerated for those 3 hours, Colvin talks about reciting the 23rd Psalm and the Lord's Prayer, so I included that. I included the quote from her pastor. When her pastor picked her up, she said, her pastor said, "I think you done brought the revolution." I thought that was so funny. All right, so then on the next page, on the next page, what I did was I highlighted the events. February 1st, attorney Fred Gray filed with the lawsuit with the court. On June 5th of 1956, the court ruled in their favor. November the 13th, it went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court upheld the district court, and desegregation on the Montgomery bus system took place. And so then I used a face stamp here to symbolize the face according to the NAACP. And I talked about why they wanted Rosa Parks versus COVID. I put that on the side. And then all of this took place in 1956. All right. Lastly, on this section right here, we have the back, which is called Claudette's conclusion. I don't feel what I did was a spark. I do feel what I did was a spark that caught on. I'm not disappointed. Just let the people know that it took 4 women to go to Supreme Court to end segregation. It did not end with Rosa Parks. It did not begin with Rosa Parks. It did not end with Rosa Parks. So before I get comments of people trying to say I'm hating on Rosa Parks, I'm not hating on Rosa Parks, but I do want to give credit where credit is due. And again, knowledge is power. And the truth of the matter is, Rosa Parks was not the one. She was not the one that refused to get up initially and started this movement, even though she gets all of the credit to this day. We thank Rosa Parks for all the contributions that she has made to the African American struggle, to society. However, I want to give credit to where credit is due, and Claudette Colvin was the original that sparked the movement of the Montgomery, Alabama bus boycott. All right, so you all, thank you for stopping by. I hope you all enjoyed my zine. I really enjoyed putting it together. I love the colors. I love the pictures. And most of all, I love the message behind it. Tell somebody that we have Zine Craz going on over here on this channel every first Thursday of the month. Until next time, you all stay blessed and keep creating.